Hello students, I hope you are well and safe at home. So now let us begin our first chapter of geography, that is resources. In this chapter I would like to highlight so many points here. First we will be learning what is resource, what are the types of resources, classification of resources on the basis of different criteria we will be learning, conserving resources. So these are the points I would like to highlight in this chapter. Now question will be arising in your mind that what is resource? Look around and observe. You will come across so many resources around you, like the water you drink when you are thirsty, the electricity you use at home, the school bus you use to go to school, the textbook you utilize to study, and so on and so forth. These all are the resources. So resources means anything that can be used to satisfy a human need is called a resource.
Here is the story of Mona, Raju and Amma. They were discussing themselves and cleaning their house. Mona said to them, "Look at all these things: clothes, utensils, food grains, combs, bottle of honey, and books. Each of these books have use." Amma replied to them, "That is why they are important." Now, Raju asked a question to Amma, "What is resource?" Amma replied, "Anything that can be used to satisfy a need is called resource." How does something become a resource?
Things become resources only when they have a value. Its use and utility gives it a value. All resources have some kind of values. Some resources have a economic value, but some may not. For example, we can take metals may have economic value, but a beautiful landscape may not. Both are very important and satisfy human needs. Now our next topic is types of resources. First is natural resources. Resources that are drawn from nature and used without much modification are called natural resources. For example, air we breathe, the water in our rivers and lakes, soils, minerals are the example of natural resources. Many of these resources are free gifts of nature and can be used directly. In some cases, tools and technology may be needed to use a natural resources in the best possible way. Now we are going to see the classification of natural resources on the basis of exhaustibility. The first is renewable resources. Renewable resources are those resources which get renewed or replenished quickly, is called renewable resources. For example, solar and wind energy. These are unlimited and are not affected by human activities. Second is non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources are those which have a limited stocks. Once the stocks have exhausted, it may take thousands of years to be renewed or replenished. Such resources are considered non-renewable resources. For example, coal, petroleum, and natural gases. Next is classification of natural resources on the basis of development. There are two types: actual resources and potential resources. Actual resources, those resources whose quantity is known and are being used in present, is called actual resources. For example, coal and petroleum. Second is potential resources. Those resources whose quantity may not be known, which are not being used in the present time. These resources can be used in the future for technology, that is the property development. Next is classification of natural resources on the basis of origin. There are two types: Aerobatic and biotic. Aerobatic resources which comes from non-living sources, for example, soil, rock and minerals. Secondly, biotic resources which comes from living beings, for example, milk and leather and etc. Now, classification of natural resources on the basis of distribution. There are two types: ubiquitous and localized. Ubiquitous resources which are available everywhere on earth, for example, air and water. Secondly, localized resources which are available on the selected location on earth, for example, coal, minerals, topography and climate. Next topic is human made resources. When a natural resources undergoes a drastic change by human intervention, it becomes human made resources. For example, iron ore is a process to make steel. Hence, steel is a man-made resources. Building, bridges, roads, machinery, vehicles are the example of human-made resources. Human resource. People are human resources. Education and health help in making a people a valuable resources. Improving the quality of people's skills so that they are able to create more resources is known as human resource development. Our next topic is conserving resources. We are already facing a shortage of water at many places because of excessive exploitation of water. Scientists predict that coal and petroleum are going to be exhausted in near future. Hence, it is important to conserve the natural resources. Conserving not only to secure our life but also the life of future generation. Making a place between our needs and conserving of resources is called sustainable development. Here is the short story of some of the friends. They are discussing and making some packets, shopping bags out of old newspaper, discarded clothes and basket from bamboo sticks. Mona has a plan to give a few things to family members which she knows to save our resources and keep our earth alive, says Mustafa. JC says, I am going to be a very careful not to waste paper because many trees are cut down to make papers. Mustafa shouted, I will see that electricity is not wasted in my house because electricity comes from water and coal. I will make sure that water is not wasted at home, said Asha. Every drop of water is very precious. Together we can make a difference, says all children. These are some of the things Mona, Raju and their friends did. What about you? How you are going to help in conserving resources? From this short story, we can learn so many things, that how the children are utilizing resources very sparingly. We must follow 3R of sustainable development. First R is reduce. We should reduce our consumption. Second R is reuse. We should reuse as many as item possible. Third R is recycle. We must recycle discarded items whenever possible. It is our responsibility to maintain and preserve the life support that nature provides. We need to ensure that all uses of renewable resources are sustainable. With this, we wind up this chapter and learn many other ways to implement in our higher grades. Thank you.